Hello and welcome Dota fans, this is SeeC bringing you another cast from the Dota 2 subreddit r/Dota2 Castit. This one is going to be a game with oops.d2 versus Against All Odds, and we're moving through the ban picks phase very quickly now, so I'm just going to get straight into that. The bans coming out from Oops are going to be the Nyx Assassin and the Nature's Prophet, while Against All Odds we'll be banning out the Treant Protector and the Naga Siren. Oops.d2 will pick up the Bat Rider as a first pick, while Against All Odds has decided to go for the Darkseer and Rubik for their first two. Looking at the bans real quick, Nature's Prophet and Nyx. Nature's Prophet not always the most common first ban, but global presence, very annoying to deal with. Nyx is just a horrible thing in lane to deal with. It's not fun at all, so I can see the ban there. Same with Treant Protector. His laning is not great, but he wins every lane on the map simultaneously, so he really is quite a good hero. And then the Naga Siren, that sleep just gets annoying. She is a very good image hero as far as they go, and the Riptide helps lower armor a lot, and the sleep is a great initiation spell with a relatively low cooldown once she hits 16, so definitely a solid ban coming out there as well. Then looking at the next pick, well, the picks actually coming up. Bat Rider, able to pull enemies out. Good pick for just isolating, and pretty much constantly wins his lane. Unless he's thrown up against something like a Puck. I've seen Slark played against him very effectively, so that's definitely something that could work out to their advantage if they choose to go that route for Against All Odds. But either way, Bat Rider being one of the best laners in the game is very tough to deal with. Shadow Demon, the next pickup from Oops. He's once again a very isolationist hero. He's able to pick out one hero and disrupt him, drop the bonus damage, whatever it may be called, I forget. Yep, Soul Catcher. There we go. Brain fart there. And purge up one hero, but once again, that's all one hero kind of stuff, so they're just looking to isolate here. They do ban out the Gyro, kind of a ridiculous carry right now, even after the nerf to flat cannon's cooldown time, putting that up from 20 to 30, he really is just still an incredible hero. Against All Odds coming back with the Leshrac and the Nyx. Leshrac, fantastic setup with Shadow Demon, and a very good support hero overall, so good ban out coming out from them there, as that can be a terrible tri-lane to deal with Shadow Demon and Leshrac. That said, the Lina is still in the pool, so if they do decide to go for something like that, the Shadow Demon sets up Lina's Light Strike array very effectively. Nyx just banning out another good carry here. IO banned out for his global relocation ability, and judging from the Nature's Prophet and the IO picks, Oops does not want to deal with global presence. That's the one thing that Nature's Prophet and IO both have in common, is that they can really pick out bad position and capitalize on it every time. Across the map, no matter where you are, you're never ever safe. Same thing with the Nyx Assassin with his Vendetta. He can pick out heroes that are out of position very easily. Same with the Bat Rider, same with the Shadow Demon. You step one step out and you're done. It's over. So there's a very big theme coming out from oops.d2 here, whereas Against All Odds, their first two picks are very open-ended. They can pretty much be laned arbitrarily, as Darkseer has been played as an off-lane, has been played as a mid. Rubik, usually a support, but I have seen him mid, although that is a little bit more TI2 time-ish, but he is still a viable mid pick, though perhaps not the best. Darkseer, usually an off-lane, but sometimes jungling too, so once again, these lanes are very open, so Against All Odds, we'll go for the Keeper of the Light here, and that's going to be a very solid tri-lane if they choose to go that route, as Keeper of the Light is one of the best defensive tri-lane heroes. He's able to just push the enemy heroes back away all the time, and if he wants, just push out the lane. So if they do choose to go for kind of a push lineup there, Keeper of the Light can knock down creep waves immediately. And if those land on the heroes like Shadow Demon, even a Bat Rider at this point, they have very low health. So one fully charged Illuminate might be half of the Shadow Demon's health.
Radiant team pick.
Lich coming out from Oops. That is possibly a mid hero, possibly an off lane. Since they have the Bat Rider, I will imagine it's going to be their off lane. I have seen him run as a support in a tri lane before, so that's also possible. But a lot of the time people pick Lich just for an experience denial and slight harassment. With that Devour Creep, the Sacrifice, that's what it's called. I'm failing at the names today. But with Sacrifice, you're able to deny one creep pretty much continuously from every wave. So you might be level 7 while they're level 5 at that point. It really does deny out a lot of experience to the other team, while at the same time, it gives you enough mana to spam out your Frost Nova constantly, just all the time. And that gets really annoying in itself. The slow, the damage, the right clicks that come with that can get really infuriating. That and Chain Frost has been buffed up. It bounces like 10 times now, so that can do a ridiculous amount of damage if in the middle of a team fight. If there are no creeps around, it bounces all over, it kills everything, it slows everything. It's a heck of a team fight skill if you can land it in the appropriate context. If you drop that around 5 creeps, perhaps not going to be as effective, but still does quite a bit of damage. Also, I believe it does have a mini stun attached to it. So it can be used to stop heroes from TPing, stop heroes from channeling, stuff like that. So it is a very, very solid ultimate.
Faceless Void.
Faceless Void coming out from Against All Odds. That's definitely going to be a defensive tri-lane then with the Rubik and the Keeper. Faceless Void probably all going to be bot lane here. And that is a very, very effective defensive tri-lane. And Faceless pretty much needs that. He needs the farm. His early game is sorely lacking. But if he can get all that farm and he can manage to get pretty much just buff as crap, he can easily kill off the enemy carry inside the chrono. And late game, you know, 30, 45 minutes on, you pop the chrono on the enemy team and you kill off their carry in that couple second duration, and then it's just a 5-on-4 and you can rout the entire other team as long as you take out that carry. That said, he has to be sure that every single time he pops the chrono, he has to get the Batrider and he has to get the Shadow Demon. Batrider, I guess, is not as important, but the Shadow Demon, if he doesn't get the Shadow Demon in every single chrono, whoever he attacks, or just Faceless Void himself, will get disrupted, and that just ruins the chrono. Alchemist coming out from Oops, and they are looking at quite a mid-game lineup here already. Batrider, as soon as he gets his blink, is going to be powerful. Alchemist, being one of the fastest farmers in the game, can get up pretty much a full item set by the mid-game. If he goes for stuff like Shadow Blade and other such cheaper, decent items, he can have an incredible mid-game presence. So, looks like Against All Odds, just looking for their mid-hero at this point. And Oops is just looking for possibly another support, possibly an offlaner. So something like the Windrunner. Against All Odds does decide to ban out the Lina, as they're thinking the Lich is going to be offlane, and the that means they'd be looking for another support. But Oops does ban out the Queen of Pain, and they're bringing out the Slark. I like that pick against the Batrider. He's one of the very few mid-heroes that can actually deal with him effectively, because every time he pops that Dark Pact, it gets rid of all of the Batrider sticky napalm charges. So you can get stacked up to 7 charges if you want, pop that one spell, and instantly they're all gone. So Batrider has a lot of trouble dealing with that, especially if Slark decides to go for a bottle build early, or as soon as he hits level 6 alternately, all he needs is some mana, and he can stay in lane against that Batrider, and he's one of the few heroes that can actually stay in lane against that Batrider. Oops, looks like they have a little bit of time here. They, once again, looking for that offlaner or the support, depending on how they want to run that Lich. I would personally run the Lich in the offlane here and just try to deny as much experience to that Faceless Void Keeper Rubik combo. Because if you do try to run the offensive tri-lane with Shadow Demon, Lich, Alchemist, I'm not sure how effective it'll be. It definitely has kill potential, though, which is one benefit to running an aggressive try here. They pick up the Mirana. That's a little bit of an unexpected pick as well. And Mirana, I'm not sure how they're going to run that, actually. Their lanes are going to be a little bit odd. So we'll see how they choose to do that. But getting into game now, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the players. On the Dire here is going to be Oops. It's Hobo Ninja on the Alchemist. Wow, my money on Mirana. Pew Die Pie in the face on the Batrider. Jacob on the Shadow Demon, and Spatnak on the Lich. On the Radiant here, it's going to be Kozak on the Faceless. Fuzz? Yep, nope, that's an S, I believe. Ah, yeah, it's going to be Fuss. Why not? Fuss on the Darkseer, Shifty on the Keeper of the Light, Dr. 05 on the Slark, and Verathis on the Rubik. And they are going to smoke up and go into their own jungle here. Looking like they're going to run that defensive tri-lane, so they are just going to try to push out everyone out of their jungle. And just some fun talk going on here in the all chat while everyone makes their way to lane. And it looks like the Dire are actually going to run an aggressive tri-lane, and that aggressive tri-lane is going to be with a farming Mirana. That's interesting. The Mirana has a fantastic stun. The damage has gotten buffed at the top end, so it does an extra 100 damage. So if they can land that stun, and Jacob's disruption is really going to help them line up that stun, so that is a very, very good way to get that. So they will still have a large kill potential here. I'm not sure how fantastic that'll do against something like the Keeper of the Light's Blast all the time, especially because they don't have wards. Oh, there they do. Okay, I was gonna say it didn't look like they had wards there for a second. If they don't block that pull camp, I'm calling this lane over already. I'm not sure that they'll be able to take that without blocking the pull camp. So it'll be a tough offensive tri lane, but if they can line up those kills with the Shadow Demon into the Mirana arrow, that will be massive. That damage on there, let's just check that out. 360 damage, maximum stun of 5 seconds. At level 1 it does 90 damage, which is pretty huge. There's also a bonus damage up to 100 based on the distance to the target. So you can still get a huge damage. So at level 1, it maxes out at almost 200 damage and a 5-second stun at max range. If you can hit that, that is ridiculous. That is a massive stun, and the disruption will come out. Wow, my money gonna drop the arrow, and perfect timing on Shifty. Looks like Shifty might be giving up first blood here, and Shifty does. That combo coming out from the Shadow Demon was perfect. The Mirana timed that arrow. It could not have been timed any better than it was. Landing that hit, landing all the damage, and following it up with all the right clicks was huge. Massive damage coming out there, and that aggressive tri-lane already paying off in dividends for them. That's going to be very important to their continued success in this game. If they can shut down the Faceless Void and shut down his partners here in crime, they could definitely see this tri-lane working out, especially now that they have such an advantage coming out from that first blood. As you can see already, Kozak has 2 last hits, so tied up with the Mirana, but still, that's not what a Faceless Void is looking for. He's not looking to be tied. He should be looking to win. By far, that is all he can do in this lane. Leash coming out from Dr. 05 here, and Pew Pew Die will hit him in the face with that Flame Break, knock him back a little bit, just kind of keep him off him there. And this matchup is going to be a little bit tough for the Alchemist here, as the Darkseer is going to be able to push him off the creep wave, especially once he gets that Soul Ring. He'll be able to spam that Ion Shell a lot, and that'll be able to keep the Alchemist off the creep wave unless he wants to take a lot of damage. And that is the danger of running something like a melee carry against the Darkseer. It gets very, very tough to really stay close to the wave without taking a ton of damage. And even just for the second or two Hobo was there, he took a lot of damage.
Middle tower is under attack.
Shadow Demon doing some de-warding on bottom here, and just a little bit of harass coming out from Spatnik. He will be able to deny a lot of experience with that sacrifice, by the way, and that will help them really keep the Faceless Void down. But they didn't block the pull camp, so they will start pulling and denying experience to the Dire in that manner. But let's see if they can actually get this. They should be able to contest it. I would imagine they would be able to. They have the kill combo of Jacob and Wow My Money on the Shadow Demon and Mirana, so they will definitely be able to do extra damage there. And they will come in to contest, but the pull itself is actually already almost over, so they won't find much here on that bottom lane. They're just going to have to wait for that next lane, that next wave of creeps. And Kozak farming better now. He is 6-1, the Mirana 7-1, so it's coming up about even, but not doing too great there. Dr. 05 taking some harass, but PewDiePie is going to be a little bit low, but he'll pop the regen rune and get back up to full immediately, so that's a very, very good rune for him to have. He pops the Firefly, throws out as much as he can while he has that regen rune, just because he knows he will get right back up to full. He does have his bottle though, so that will be very good for him in staying in lane. Well, on the other hand, the Slark has his as well, so that's going to be close too. And the disruption coming out here, the Mirana arrow being a little bit early, they would have gotten that kill, I think, but the Mirana arrow just was not there. It was just maybe a half a second too early, so mistimed there, cost them a kill, but not too big a deal overall, just going to be a little bit of money and mana that they'll be missing. Kozak going for some more last hits here. He is going to get another one, and looks like there's going to be some contention over this rune. Both of them guessing the same rune spot, so let's see if they get it right. And the DD will be down there, and Dr. 05 gets it. PewDiePie trying to hit him up onto that ledge, but not managing just by a little bit. He does manage to stay down there. Fuzz versus Hobo up here. Hobo's coming in for that kill. He's going to get a lot of damage put on him by that Darkseer, and that's going to be the story of that lane. Darkseer pushing him away, Alchemist diving for the kills anyway. He has gone through 5 tangos already and has 110 health, so he is not looking too great in that lane so far. Dr. 05 still has not hit his level 6, so in that next couple, 300 or so experience, he will be able to pretty much just regen up all the time. It looks like some kills going on down here. Rubik does go down. The Keeper of the Light Blast coming through and gets that kill on the Shadow Demon. Faceless Void jumps forward and continues the aggression with a kill on the Lich. Very good initiation coming out there from them, and the damage from the Keeper of the Light there being invaluable. Shifty diving a little bit in here, maybe getting a little bit too aggressive. Not sure why he's going in that far, just to push the Mirana back a little bit, I guess. But he is going to be able to walk right back on out. Initiation coming out from Dr. 05. He has that double damage room. He's doing tons of damage there, but not quite able to get that kill. He's not going to dive that one. He is way too low to start diving that, but his ultimate will be able to heal him up rather rapidly as soon as he gets out of vision. And as you can see, it drops him at 23.3 health per second there, and that'll help him pretty much sustain in lane against this Bat Rider ad nauseum. That'll also help him spot out any observer wards across the map, as it does slow his movement speed whenever he's in range of an observer ward. So that will be very key in slowing down the Dyer's vision in that type of situation. Initiation coming out from the Rubik here, throws Jacob up, lets him down, but Jacob will disrupt the Void. Arrow once again coming early from Wow My Money. Wow My Money's taking tons of damage from that Illumination now, but Kozak is going to take some extra damage from the Mirana's Starfall there, getting hit with two stars instead of just one there, and that will force them back a little bit. Kozak tangoing up, and he will be able to be just fine in lane here. Let's see if he goes for the Battle Fury build. Not sure what he's going to quite go there. A lot of Voids tend to go for that Battle Fury build just to try to get the extra farm. And if you are farming very well early game, that's very, very helpful. On the other hand, it's equally likely that we'll see a Mask of Madness come out from him early. If he does want to fight early battles at all, the Mask of Madness allows him to do that. It pretty much just gives him the attack speed he needs to proc bashes, but he only has 1 level of bash, and that's going to show that he probably isn't going to go for an early mask, because if he does, he can't proc the bashes that much, and without the bashes, his damage just isn't there. He does do 85 damage, which is a lot. I'm not saying that's not a lot, but if you proc bashes 25% of the time for 70 extra damage, that's huge. That's a lot of damage. If you can proc that 2-3 times in the course of a Chronosphere, and in the Chronosphere, I actually think he gets... Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like there's some kind of bonus there you get for being in the Chronosphere, but Bat Rider looks like he's going to initiate down here. Jacob actually being the one to drop the initiation, and that arrow coming out from Mirana does hit. Jacob tossed up and down, but nothing coming out there. Kozak getting lassoed back. He looks like he's going to go down. He tries to leap away, and he does backtrack some of that damage. That is going to keep him alive. It looks like Shadow Demon going to go down on the other side here. Shifty now caught out way in there, but they are going to dive against this Void. Void getting very low, down to 15 health, but he is not going to go down. PewDiePie Pie is going to get hit here. Miss Leash coming out from Dr. 005, and PewDiePie might be going down if they can get a couple extra right clicks here on him. He does pop the Firefly, but the right clicks are going to come through and manage to get that kill. Good trade there from the Radiant. They finally do get a very favorable trade, and on top of that, the Faceless Void did live through that engagement, and that's huge for them. He also has bought something. Oh, he bought up the treads. That's what it was. Keeper of the Light actually getting a kill down here. So I look away for 1 second to check out the Faceless Void, and their kills going on down here. So must have been from that Illuminate, I'd imagine, as that damage is getting quite large now with a up to 300 damage channel. That's going to be very important for them in this tri-lane. And now the Slark just sitting back and healing up. He has picked up the Orb of Venom, and that's going to be huge for him. Letting him slow down the enemy heroes is going to be key in letting him have that chase potential. The Leash also having a very low cooldown helps a lot, and he is going to initiate on the Hobo Ninja here, and he misses the Leash, pops the Dark Pact, but TP reaction coming in. He is going to have to run away. Hobo Ninja still not channeling that stun. He chooses not to channel. Oh, there's the channel, but looks like Dr. 005 is going to get very low. Hobo Ninja dropping the stun on Fuss here. Looks like Fuss might be going down. He does manage to drop the wall before he dies there. That's going to be important. But Bat Rider coming in does manage to get the lasso out on Dr. 005, and he might be going down next. He doesn't have his ultimate, he just used that. And if he can get out of range here, no, does not get out of range of that Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon proccing the Shadow Poison against him and getting that kill. That's going to be a very important kill for them to stop the Slark from snowballing. Because if there's one thing a good Slark wants, that is early game kills and early game farm. And if he can gank all over the map time and time again, get those kills, he is able to snowball like crazy, especially once he gets some attack speed up on him to get all those stat steals. His damage can go through the roof in the duration of a fight. If he can manage to continually get hits on people, it doesn't even have to be kills, it just has to be hits. And wow, my money getting initiated on with that Rubik lift, and he does not have that leap, so he's going to take a lot of damage from the right clicks here before he can slowly walk out of range. Dr. 005 looking like he's going on Hobo Ninja, lands the leash, and the Dark Pact is going to hit as well. That stun's going to come out from Hobo Ninja in a second or two. He decides not to throw it yet, though, and Dr. 005 will pick up that kill. The Hobo Ninja just choosing not to throw out that stun earlier, and I question why. And, I mean, Dr. 005 was invisible, so that might have been the reason. I'm not sure if he was invisible throughout the duration of that stun, but he definitely was towards the end of it. So, Hobo Ninja will go down, and that is really going to hurt them, though the Alchemist still is #1 in last hits on the board. He is at 41 with the Darkseer at 38 and the Batrider at 31. That means the Batrider is going to be well on his way towards his Blink Dagger, another 1,300 gold or so until that, but he does have his Tranquils and Bottle Up, so that's going to be very helpful for him. The Alchemist sitting on a Ring of Health and Phase Boots looks like he's probably going to be going for the Battle Fury there, which is a bit of a strange build as Alchemist tends to go for usually more attack speed based items and tends not to go for the long farming items, because if he does go Battle Fury, that pretty much shows how late this game is going to go. Between the Void and the Alchemist in this game, Alchemist going for the Battle Fury, Void not showing his item progression yet, but may well be going for that Battle Fury. If Hobo Ninja does decide to go for it here, which I'd imagine he will, that just means this game is going to drag out for a long time as he tries to outfarm the Void well enough to get tons of damage up. And the vacuum into the wall here coming out from Darkseer, but just not enough damage there. Hobo Ninja does drop low, but between the Ring of Health and his ultimate, he will be able to heal that back up relatively quickly. Spatnak not really sitting on much of anything here. PewDiePie, another 1,000 or so gold for his Blink Dagger, and Dr. 005 not looking like he has too much going for him yet. He does only have 16 last hits, but he has 3 kills, so he is doing relatively okay, but that will skew the look of this chart. Hobo Ninja getting vacuumed back right into an Ion Shell and hasting out on Fuss, but he is not able to get past those creeps. He might have been better served hasting out the creep with Ion Shell on it right there, and maybe getting a kill like that. Rubik initiating on Jacob here. Jacob is going to stun or disrupt out the Kazakh here. Kazakh dropping that orb, and he does choose to go after Jacob, having no real attack speed. He is not able to get the kill. Jacob making it away with next to nothing. He had 5 health at the end of that. One more hit from the Faceless Void would have secured that kill, but he chooses not to go after it. But the Slark on the other hand with a haste will choose to go after it, and he is going to pounce in a moment or two, and I'm not sure. The Shadow Demon does choose to self-destruct, and he will pounce on out there and go invisible. And Dr. 005, and the ward drops from them. The arrow will miss, and that will force them back, I'd imagine. Another pounce coming out, letting him just kind of run away. And Shifty is going to go down here to the Batrider. Batrider throwing out the level 4 Flame Break, doing huge damage, and one more right click will clean that up.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Down here,
attack.
they do have vision of this ward as soon as they choose to kill that off. They tried to kill it off a minute or two so ago when Jacob did get initiated on, so they were not able to clean that up, but I'm sure as soon as the lane pushes down, they will choose to knock that Observer ward out. Good sentry placement coming out continually throughout the early game from the Dire, as they have dewarded these Observer wards multiple times now. Kozak catching up in farm with 39, and he is going to choose to go for a Mask of Madness, and there he goes, leveling the time lock. He's going to need more levels in time lock if he does choose to go for this route, and he does have quite a ways, a couple hundred gold, maybe 1,000 or so, until he can get that Mask of Madness. So until then, he is going to be forced to, level up that time lock and keep that time walk a little bit low, and that has its trade-offs, absolutely has its trade-offs. He's not going to be able to escape or initiate as well, but if he does get the initiation down, and the ultimate coming out from Wow My Money, looks like they're going to try to swing through the jungle and gank middle. They are going to run into the Darkseer here. Darkseer doesn't know it, and he does get disrupted up. That arrow coming out very mistimed. They're miscommunicated between them. They will get the kill here on Fuss, but a little bit of a miscommunication between Wow My Money and that Darkseer, not telling each other how they're going to act. They do manage to get the kill there, though. On the Darkseer, it didn't matter that much. Dr. 005 does bottle up the Invis rune, so he will be able to sneak up on people even more, and it looks like Shifty is just going to try to take as much from this Alchemist as he can, push out the lane a little bit, and throw out one right click. Not that the Alchemist really cared about that right click, but it was there nonetheless. Dr. 005 sitting invisible right next to the Shadow Demon and Wow My Money. Looks like he could be looking for a quick pick, but with the Shadow Demon disruption, it's going to be very tough. Whoever he does decide to go on, as soon as they get leash, the Shadow Demon can disrupt them. And that leash is, well, Pounce, I guess. I should start calling it by its real name. Pounce provides a leash, but Pounce, whoever gets pounced, basically, is going to get disrupted immediately. So right there, Jacob is, yep, he does manage to get that disruption off. It's not going to matter in the end. But Dr. 05 does get the kill. Well, Darkseer actually gets the kill and dodges the arrow at the same time. The Lich and the Rubik are going to run into each other. Rubik not able to get the lift off that slow, being a little bit too powerful, and Korzak will throw out the chrono for that. Not able to get too many hits on there, but the telekinesis is going to come through, and they will get that kill. Wow My Money throwing out the stun does stun up Dr. 005 and forces him out of that pounce. So that will be a good stun coming out from him. Looks like they're trying to push out this lane a little bit with the Keeper the Light Blast and the Ion Shell coming through, so they will be able to hopefully do some damage to this tower. Might be able to take it with this creep wave, depending on how much the Dire feel like defending it, which apparently looks like not very much, so they will definitely be getting this tower. Stun coming through on Dr. 005, but Rubik will take the tower kill there. Vacuum coming in, throwing out the wall a little bit late there, but does manage to catch both of them, but no harm, no foul for them. It just will push them a little bit back, and Fuss has been very, very loose with that wall. He's been kind of throwing it down whenever, and that's a good tactic, I feel, but they need the follow-up. Without any follow-up through that wall, the wall itself does not have quite enough damage. It does do 150 damage when you walk through it, and the vacuum does do 160 damage, but that's just not enough to really kill off the enemy heroes. And the enemy heroes themselves don't do enough damage at this point in the game to really kill themselves. So, the wall being thrown out quite a bit, but perhaps not to its most effective, and that's why a lot of Darkseers tend to stay without the wall for a while. They choose to get the wall at levels 10 and 11 or so, 11 and 12, something like that, so that they can make sure the wall has an effectiveness. And the counter gank coming here on top. Jacob not managing to get off the disruption, and he chooses not to get it now on that Slark. And Slark has picked up his treads, while Kozak has picked up the Mask of Madness. And that's going to be key in him dropping those chronos and being able to just proc that bash over and over and over inside of the chrono. Another 6 seconds left on that cooldown, so he will be able to use that Mask of Madness relatively soon. And 3 heroes from the Dire just kind of hanging out around top. So Alchemist and Shadow Demon tends to be a good combination. A Shadow Demon can disrupt the enemy hero that they're trying to go on in time for Alchemist to channel his stun, and that does get you an extra 2.5 seconds on that stun, which can be very helpful and can be the difference between life and death there for that enemy hero. So it's a good combo, but they choose not to utilize it there and just back off instead. Now 3 heroes for the Radiant at the top, just looking to initiate here, and Jacob is going to be the target. Going to miss the pounce slide a little bit though, and Jacob will, the wall dropped by Fuss. Dr. 05 is disrupted and slowed, so he's not going anywhere. That Chain Frost coming out, but only hitting Dr. 05. That was a perfect pounce to get away from his team, and the chrono coming out from Kozak. Perfect timing there. I'm not sure if Hobo Ninja will be able to throw out that stun. He does not manage it, does manage to kill himself. Dr. 05 running away a little bit. Kozak running away as well, and that was a great initiation coming out from the Radiant there, allowing them to get the kill on the enemy Alchemist, who is farming exceedingly well with 85 last hits, so he is doing very well. But getting killed there, he is going to have a broadsword and a claymore on the courier here, so he is going for that Battle Fury build. Another 300 gold and he would have had it. He was probably very, very close to that when he died, possibly even had the gold when he died, but that death is going to delay the Battle Fury, though admittedly not for very long, as he is farming relatively quickly. Let's look at the gold for a minute. He's farming at 350, so it'll delay it another minute, but that minute is going to be relatively inconsequential at this point in the game. He is still going to be farming ridiculously fast. thanks to him being an alchemist. Looking at the net worth graphs, he is at 6,400 gold or so. The Darkseer right behind him at 5,300, and the Faceless Void is lagging behind at 4,800, and that's one of the inherent weaknesses. And it will be Dr. 05 going up Fat Neck here. He will get that kill in a couple hits, and going invisible to avoid as much damage as he can there. He is visible by the tower though, and he will pounce again on Wow My Money and take 2 hits. Wow My Money going down. Dr. 05 in trouble now. He gets purged out, does drop the Dark Pact, but it will be going down to that Alchemist stun. Alchemist coming through the middle here, and they will get Mirana ulted out, so they are not able to see them. And Virathis going back in for that Fade Bolt, a little bit greedy there, and he will go down as a result of that. Alchemist pulling out the kill there, and he does have his Battle Fury finished up, and another 1,000 gold on top of that. That Alchemist got 1,000 gold from that team fight, on top of the couple little creep kills he got there, and that's just incredible. That really is ridiculous how much farm he is getting. The Faceless Void in comparison in that time got 200 gold. The early game on the Faceless Void is clearly just no match for the Alchemist here, but if they take it late enough, if the Radiant can just kind of turtle for a while, they will manage to get that Faceless Void some more items and get him quite a bit more stacked up, and that'll do a lot in getting him to the Alchemist farm levels and being able to take that Alchemist possibly in the span of 1 Chronosphere. If he can kill that Alchemist in the Chronosphere, Oops may not be able to contend with that. So that will be his goal, no doubt, is to be able to kill the Alchemist. But that said, if the Alchemist can get off his ultimate, that's going to be a very, very monumental task, especially once he gets up something like an Assault Cuirass if he decides to go that route. If he does go there, the Assault Cuirass is going to help him survive through the Chrono, and that's going to gotta be his #1 goal right now. If he can get off that ultimate though, in the middle, right before the Chrono, he gets 600, 900 bonus health. He gets the bonus health regen as well, which is going to be huge. So he gets that ult off. I don't think the Void will really be able to kill him in that Chrono, as Void just doesn't do that much damage until later in the game. So until then, he may not be able to get that kill. And Alchemist farming fantastically. He's got another 1,000 gold in the last minute and a half or so. So he is doing exceedingly well. He's up to 1,900 gold now, so he will be going towards his next item rapidly. Faceless Void up at 1,300 gold himself, almost at 6k net worth. So he is doing fantastically as well, though perhaps not as good as the Alchemist. Relatively passive game coming out now, just everyone kind of holding their own ground here, just kind of farming up, trying to get that next tier of items up. Wow My Money does have his treads, does have his Aquila up, 300 gold on him, not sure what he'll be going for there, and it looks like they will be trying to take this tower middle, and the initiation coming out momentarily. Batrider does not have his blink, he chooses to go for the Force Staff first, so that will be a slight detriment. Dr. 05 getting initiated on here, and the vacuum coming out from the Darkseer. It looks like he tried to go vacuum wall there, didn't have the mana though, and Chain Frost is going to do a lot of damage. Disruption coming out on that Darkseer. Void is going to have to blink away, he's getting very low. Plus will go down to the Mirana there, and it's a 1-for-0 trade. They do get the tower though, and it was destroyed by the Radiant. It was not denied, so that is going to be a reasonable trade. Meanwhile, Shifty is split pushing here and is almost going to manage to get that bottom tower. He has finished his mech, which will be awesome for him though. PewDiePie Force Staffing in, not able to get close enough to get anything off on Shifty here. But Shifty has his mech, and that is going to be very, very important for their team fight. He is going to channel up the Illuminate, knock out this creep wave real quick, and get a little bit more pressure going on that bottom lane.
Dire's bottom tower.
Mirana does deny that bottom tower, and that will deny them a lot of gold, but at the same time, it still takes out a tier 2 tower. So just look at the tower advantage. There's 1 tower down at the middle here for the Dire, and 4 towers down, all the tier 1s and one of the tier 2s towers are down for the Dire here, so they do not have the advantage of towers that the Radiant has. So that will kind of cancel out a lot of the Roche advantage that the Dire have. If they choose to go for Roche, usually the Dire have a huge Roche advantage thanks to this tower and this tower. It allows them to be much closer to the Roche pit, and thus, if they do die, if they do want to TP in more heroes and buy back or something like that, they can just run right to, or TP to this tower and just run right in. They're right there. It's very, very close to their towers. And again, coming out here on the bottom lane from that Mirana ult, but looks like they're not going to find anything, and the duration of it will expire. It has a relatively long cooldown at 140 seconds, so it is going to be quite a ways until they have that again. So a little bit unfortunate they didn't find anything there, but Spatnak is going to deny this Observer Ward to the Radiant, and that may be them planning for the Roche here. They cleared out the jungle, and then they killed off the Observer Ward. So that will deny the vision to the Radiant here, and if they choose to go Roche, then it looks like they will initiate on Kazakh. Kazakh getting purged up, and he is going to be very slow. We'll throw out the Chrono here. Jacob will be going down. There's a very nice Chrono, and they will vacuum the Batrider out, but it looks like the Void will go down, but they are taking 3 in return with the Batrider, the Mirana, and the Shadow Demon getting taken out in that engagement as well. A little bit of a misplay there from the Darkseer. He did vacuum them out of the Chrono, and Hobo Ninja will be getting hit up by Dr. 05. Dr. 05 is going to get stunned out, though. Hobo Ninja is doing tons of damage. That Maelstrom Battle Fury allowing him to do huge damage to the Slark, especially once he pops his ultimate. It lowers his base attack time at level 3 to 1-1. That's it. That's such a low base attack time. Once he gets something like the Mjolnir up, that attack is going to be ridiculous. Right now, his attack isn't fantastic because he did choose to go for the phase over the treads. So once he gets the Mjolnir up, the Hyperstone up, you should see him in his ultimate form. It gets ridiculous very quickly, especially if he does decide to go for the Mjolnir into an Assault Cuirass. It gets insane how fast he attacks. It really does get crazy. And especially with the Maelstrom procs here, the Chain Lightning of the Maelstrom and Mjolnir does like 200 damage or so. And yeah, 120 damage. On the Mjolnir, it might do a little bit more. I'll check that out real quick. And it does do slightly more at 160. So it does a ton of damage. If you can proc that over and over and over and over again in the middle of a team fight, and it hits everyone on the enemy team, that's 160 damage a proc. That adds up, especially with how fast Hobo Ninja is going to be attacking with that Maelstrom and Mjolnir. Once that comes out, it really adds up a lot. And you can see it does a fair bit of damage there to the creeps, and that'll help him farm as well. Will speed up his jungle farming on top of that, so that's definitely a very good pickup for him. Meanwhile, the Lich is on his way to a mech, but he is quite a ways off, missing the buckler and missing the recipe. So that's about 1,700 gold he's going to need to find somewhere around the map. And it looks like, wow, my money is going to be going for a Yasha here, just trying to get up some damage, possibly going into the Manta later, but that is going to be much later. PewDiePie is going to be saving up for that Blink Dagger, I would think, at this point. He did go Force Staff first, which is a questionable decision. Usually you see Batriders go for the Blink first, as it allows a huge initiation range, whereas Force doesn't allow quite as much. That said, Force is definitely better for getting out of sticky situations, as it allows you to move even after you've taken damage, whereas Blink Dagger does have a 3-second cooldown after you take damage, so it is a little bit less reliable as far as escape mechanisms go, but it is still a very good initiation, and that is what Batrider does best after all, is initiate. So he will be about 1,000 gold away at this point from that Blink Dagger if he chooses to go that route. Looking at the Void's items, it looks like I'm not sure even really what he's going to get at this point. He has the Blade of... Oh, it looks like he's going back for the Battle Fury. This is going to be a really, really late Battle Fury, and is a slightly questionable decision, as it doesn't provide much for a Void. It provides farm. It allows you to farm faster, but getting it at 27 minutes in is a little bit odd. It's a little bit off as far as item builds go. Usually if you get a Battle Fury, you want to do it right away. And it looks like initiation coming up here on top. Jacob getting brought back into that wall. He will go down immediately. The Alchemist taking tons of damage there. Chain Frost is out from that Lich. Wow, my money getting hit up in the tower in. And he will go down as well. Shadow Demon and Mirana being the only 2 casualties thus far. But they looks like the Radiant want to chase here. Searching for Dr. 005. Hobo Ninja will throw out the stun against him. And it looks like he will go down. Huge damage coming out from Hobo Ninja in that ultimate form. Doing tons of damage. He does pick up the Shadow Blade there. And that explains the attack rate. Explains the damage. And it looks like Fuss will be going down as well. The Lich finishing him off. And the stun coming out from Hobo Ninja. He will throw that out in a moment or two. And he throws that out against the Rubik. And Rubik will be going down as well. Shifty looks like he'll be going down next. And Kazakh coming in with that ultimate will be able to get PewDiePie. And coming back for Hobo Ninja here. He is going to be able to push Hobo Ninja away. Hobo Ninja has his ultimate though. So if he does want to re-engage, he will definitely be able to get Shifty. But Kozak might get the kill on him in return. He will find a regeneration rune though. And that will be key. Kozak trying to jump on that, but not in time there. Hobo Ninja does get it canceled off pretty much immediately, vacuumed back, and Kozak will be going around the other side. Hobo Ninja popping his ultimate though. He is very formidable in that ultimate form, so he is going to go ahead and re-engage. Kozak is behind him though, so it looks like the Purge coming out on Fuss. Fuss is held in place there for a second or two, and a second or two is all it's going to take. Hobo Ninja is going to stun himself though, which doesn't really matter. He will heal up immediately. And Hobo Ninja, look at how tanky he is already. That ultimate providing 900 extra health. Granted, his armor is a little bit low, but that will be rectified later in the match, I'm sure. But he has 2,200 health in that ultimate form, and that is going to be very, very tough for the Void to take down. But Void choosing to take out the Batrider in that Chrono, which might have been a very good decision, as I don't think Batrider actually used his lasso during that engagement. So taking down the Batrider, he doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet. That'll delay the Blink Dagger, which would be very nice for them, as well as I'm not sure that he used his ultimate there. So killing him off there might have been a very good idea, because if they didn't kill him off, if he chooses to go on the Alchemist and doesn't get the Alchemist kill, then he's in a lot of trouble. He gets lassoed up, Alchemist starts smacking him away, cutting wood on his legs there, and he will likely die to that combo. So making the right choice there in going for the Batrider. Lich slightly closer to her mech, but not unduly closer. And Hobo Ninja up at 3,300 gold already. He is almost doubling the Void's net worth. That said, Void has done a lot. Void has come back from a huge, huge deficit and has accelerated his farm, but a Void's farm accelerated is nothing like an Alchemist farm accelerated. And it looks like Kozak will get lassoed up. 4 of them going on him in the middle lane here, and he will go down before the duration of that lasso ends. No chance for him to leap away or throw out that spear, and he will just go down. Illuminate threading the needle and only hitting 1 there, but it will be the Batrider. Batrider will heal up and go on the hunt there, but not finding much of anything. Alchemist does manage to get this top tower solo, so that will be even more gold for him. He's up to 4,100 and definitely doubling the Void's net worth, especially after that death. Void is looking really shaky at this point. He doesn't have his Battle Fury yet, so if he does keep farming, that's going to be a very, very late Battle Fury. Looking at the gold per minute, he'll need, oh wow, he's only at 300. He will need another couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to get that Battle Fury once he comes back up. So he's looking at a 33-minute Battle Fury. 33-minute Battle Fury. That just, it doesn't jive with me well. Hobo Ninja does decide to go for the Reaver. Looks like he'll either be going for the Heart or the Satanic. At this point in the game, I would think a Heart would just make him nearly unkillable. And if he couples it later with something like the Assault Cuirass, once again, I stress the Assault Cuirass, because both Slark and Void do physical damage, so that'll help both him and his team. Furthermore, Hobo Ninja himself does physical damage, so the -5 armor aura there will help him DPS a lot on those supports. Granted, it won't help him that much against the Void. He does have 10 armor, so it will help him. 5 armor on the Slark, though. Being able to get Slark down to 0 armor will make you available to kick his ass. It's crazy, especially with the base attack time of 1. He'll be able to murder the Slark so fast, and all the supports. So getting the Heart there is going to make him practically unkillable. Perhaps not the best item he could have gone for, but he's going for survivability here. You can tell. It will help him there. And it looks like Kozak could finish up his Battle Fury right now, and it's flying on his way to him. And it is going to be a 32-minute Battle Fury instead of a 33-minute Battle Fury. And it looks like he does have an Ancient stack here to come home to. It's going to be a triple stack, it looks like. Actually, a quad stack. That's going to be 2 Golem stacks and 2 Dragon stacks. And Void is definitely actually going to have to be careful with this stack, especially once he pops the Mask of Madness. He's going to take a lot of damage if he doesn't attack fast enough. And look at that damage coming out from them. He actually could die here if he doesn't kill them fast enough, and he is going to be forced to run away at 175 health. Like I said, that extra damage coming out from that Mask of Madness, forcing him back, and that's a little bit unfortunate, but he is definitely going to be able to kill them off, especially with this time lock, locking out one of the big golems, and that's another 82 damage that he isn't going to have to deal with. So he is going to be able to kill them off. It just might be a little bit slower than he hoped for, and using the Coddle Illusion to tank up is a very good idea there, and take some of the damage off of the Void, so he will be able to clean up that Ancient stack at this point. That'll net him a lot of extra gold, so he will be well on his way to his next item with 1,300 gold coming out. Slark finishing up his Orchid in one fell swoop. He had enough gold to just buy that outright, and that's pretty impressive in itself. And that will be key in locking down the Batrider, stopping the Shadow Demon, stopping the Mirana, and actually, I think one of its biggest uses personally, if you can get that off on the Alchemist before he can pop his ultimate, I wouldn't say he's useless, but it's gonna dramatically reduce his effectiveness, as that ultimate does help him do a ton of damage. They are up under the Mirana ultimate now, pushing into the jungle, and it looks like they're gonna try to initiate here on the Radiant. Throwing out the Chrono is Kozak. He does start hitting up on Wow My Money, doing a bunch of damage, but the stun coming out on him, he does backtrack the damage, but look at that damage out on Slark. Slark is almost going to go down, but Batrider picking off the Darkseer here. Kozak is forced to jump away. Hobo Ninja is just being kited around. He has finished that heart, so he is completely unkillable. So the Radiant's response to that is fine. If you're unkillable, we aren't even going to try. So they managed to get a lot of the other supports down on low life, but it just isn't enough. They don't quite have the damage there. So Rubik and Darkseer being traded for nothing, and that is going to be a bad trade for them. And if the Dire really wanted, they could go for Roshan here. And they did go for Roshan. I totally missed that earlier. I'm sorry about that one. Wow, I can't believe I missed that. Sorry. But yeah, so the Aegis on Hobo Ninja makes him absolutely ridiculously unkillable. Oh, and that was only a little bit ago. That was right before they smoked up, well, Mirana ulted up mid, I guess. So, sorry about missing that. I was not watching there at all. So, it looks like they really, really don't want to go on Hobo Ninja, as he has the heart, he has the Aegis, he has everything he needs to never, ever, ever be able to die. So, they will go ahead and take this bottom tower, and not quite doubling up the Void's net worth anymore, but the Void has gotten his farm going a little bit better. He will be working on that Maelstrom in an attempt to get a little bit of extra damage there for a cheap cost, and a little bit of extra farmability as well. The Maelstrom is going to proc those Chain Lightnings just like it does for Hobo Ninja. Though, to be fair, Hobo Ninja does attack a lot faster, so there will be a slight advantage for him. Both teams grouped up bottom, possibly looking for another 5-on-5 engagement, though that Chronosphere is down for another 8 seconds, so they will have to wait on that one, but that's not going to be a big deal. The Lich's Chain Frost also down for another couple seconds, 40 seconds or so. Hobo Ninja will be initiated upon before he can pop his ultimate. He does go invisible, but Kozak will catch him out. Kozak choosing not to go on Hobo Ninja due to that Aegis, I'd imagine, and Hobo Ninja will pop the Aegis. Kozak gets disrupted up and manages to get Lich out of there. The Mirana ultimate paying dividends there. Hobo Ninja is silenced up. Batrider is going to pull Kozak out. Batrider does manage to get the Slark kill as well. Alchemist getting the Keeper of the Light. Kozak having to jump away, and that wall is really helping them out, just not doing quite enough. Hobo Ninja is going to continue in the chain of initiation here, and the Rubik is going to get force-staffed and surged away. Looks like Fuss is going to be going down here. Hobo Ninja managing to get that kill out. And look at that heart, though, just keeping him alive. He had 3,500 or 3,400 life or so when he was in that ultimate form. And that really just, it makes him almost impossible to deal with. They did manage to get the Aegis popped, which is definitely a good thing. But outside of that, the Radiant didn't really accomplish anything again with that fight. So AAO is going to be down another 3 heroes to the Dire's 0. And that is going to be very painful. So the Mirana has finished her Yasha and is working on that Manta style and does have the recipe out in his stash, so he will be able to pick that up. And the Blink Dagger finished on the Batrider, as you can see in that fight, and the Gem. The Gem is going to be huge. Picking up that Gem is going to allow him to deward these 2 wards when he walks into them. This ward actually is just going to expire by itself right now, but if he does walk into them, he will be able to deward them rather. Alchemist choosing to go for the Basher, looking like he's going to build into the Abyssal Blade next, and that's just going to be to lock down the Void and lock down really anyone he's against. The big thing for an Alchemist is usually that you can kite him around. If he doesn't have the mobility and the lockdown, you could just kite him all day and he can't do damage, especially against something like the the Purge coming out from the Shadow Demon. If they did have the Shadow Demon on the Radiant, something like that serves to slow down Hobo Ninja a lot. But Shadow Demon is on his team, so that will be a huge benefit for him. And that will allow him to just kind of run rampant in these fights. The Radiant just seem like they don't have enough lockdown for him. Putting him in a leash just makes it so that he can attack the Slark, and that Gem is going to allow them to take the Slark out easier and easier now. Especially if he does choose to initiate against something like the Alchemist. If he throws the Alchemist in a leash, or a pounce rather, he is going to die relatively quickly. He only has 1,200 life. So with that Gem out on the Batrider, if they can get close enough to the Slark, Slark will just die instantly in every fight. Kozak looks like he's finished up that Maelstrom, or at least very, very close to finishing up that Maelstrom. Looks like he does need about 50 gold or so to he gets that. And they're going to push down that middle tower area again. And just kind of running rampant for the Dire here. They really don't have much fear here. As you can see, the Mirana, the Lich, and the Shadow Demon just kind of pushing down middle, and that ward did get dewarded by the Bat Rider, it looks like, or maybe it just expired. Either way, there is relatively little vision for the Radiant here on the map. PewDiePie gets a Sange, and it looks like he will be going for something like the Heaven's Halberd to lock down that Void a little bit more. If Void does go into the Chrono and doesn't get that Bat Rider now, Bat Rider will be able to pop the Heaven's Halberd on him and make him completely useless during the duration of that Chrono. He can't attack, by the way, while under the Heaven's Halberd, so that will make him pretty much... That'll negate the Chrono. Arrow coming out from Mirana. It does hit the Slark, and the Bat Rider is going to jump down and try to pull him up, but the good telekinesis coming out there. PewDiePie is going to get lassoed back. Veralthus does manage to steal that last one. That was a fantastic initiation, or counter initiation, coming out from the Rubik, stealing that lasso, telekinesising him, making sure he can't drag Dr. 05 out, and dodging the arrow there is the entire Radiant team. Alchemist just farming up the neutrals here. Dr. 05 will miss that leash, and Hobo Ninja is forced back a little bit. And not only was that a good kill, but as you can see there, that was a 4.5, 5 minute duration Observer ward left. But thanks to the gem pickup from the Bat Rider, the Radiant team is going to be able to kill off all these wards now, which is huge turnaround for them. This could help them come back. Stopping an initiation like that, not only is it good for the team as far as gold and experience goes, it's a huge morale booster. Getting picked out continually over and over like that really hurts a team's morale and hurts their spirits. Whereas getting that counter initiation off by the Rubik really just, it lets his teammates pat him on the back, gets their spirits up, and will help them come back into this game. That said, I'm not sure how easy it will be for them to come back in, as Hobo Ninja has more than double the Void again. He's up at 24,000 net worth. He's almost finished his Abyssal Blade, and it looks like he'll be going for something else here, and it will be the Mjolnir. He'll choose not to finish the Abyssal, and instead will go straight into the Mjolnir, and that'll really help him get the attack speed out. He needs to proc that bash over and over and over. So in team fights, he will be able to lock down, hopefully, that Void. Will be able to lock down the Slark. Will be able to lock down whoever he goes for. Wow, my money popping his ultimate there, and it looks like they're going to be trying to initiate down the middle lane here. I'm not sure if the Radiant was able to see that, but they are standing sufficiently far back that they may not be taken out by that. Veralthus does have the haste rune, so he is also going to be able to run away, though he was spotted out by that Dire ward, it looks like. So he is going to make his escape. The Dire not getting anything off that ultimate, but it does have a 120-second cooldown now, so it's slightly shorter by about 20 seconds or so. Still not relatively short, but hey, what can you do? You can't win them all. But the Alchemist has picked up his Mjolnir, so that will allow him to attack absolutely ridiculously fast. And if I forget to mention it, please watch the next fight when he does pop that Rage. And it looks like the next fight might be now. They initiate against him, though, thanks to that gem. Shadow Blade not helping him out there. Throwing out the wall, throwing out the vacuum. It looks like he might go down the Void. Throwing out the Chrono. Does manage to get that kill. PewDiePie caught in there as well. And it looks like he might be going down on top of that. They get the Illuminate off on him, and he goes down there. A huge turnaround from the Dire, all thanks to that gem. That gem kill off the Bat Rider earlier. The gem coming out on Veralthus allowed them to get that kill, and the Alchemist thought he was just going to initiate in, possibly just run into the middle of everyone and not really, no one would really notice. But the gem pickup there allowing him to get that kill there for the Radiant. Kozak throwing out a perfect Chrono there as well, managing to catch the Bat Rider and the Alchemist, and getting that last hit on the Alchemist was very important. But killing the Bat Rider off once again is huge, as there is no initiation there, and this is going to allow them to take the tier 2 and possibly push into the base if they choose. If they do push into the base at this point, there is no Bat Rider, so there is no one-off initiation like that, and there is no Alchemist, so there really is pretty much no defense. The Void is going to jump on in and get the kill on Jacob before he can even react. Dr. 05 is going in on the Lich here, and is going to be forced back by that Chain Frost. Chain Frost bouncing around and doing tons of damage to him. They will be pushed back a little bit. 20 seconds left on that Alchemist, though, until he respawns, and it looks like they are going to wait for the next creep wave and possibly go in again, but I'm not sure how useful that is actually going to be, so we will see in the next minute couple seconds or so. And the Alchemist... Oh, no, that was the... Sorry, that was the spray coming out from the Radiant, that was actually. Sorry, that was the... So that is definitely... Whoa, Echo. Sorry about that one. Get some Echo there. They will manage to take the tier 3 tower. The Acid Spray really helping out with that minus armor and keeping everyone away. PewDiePie will attempt to initiate it, and he will be killed again. He did manage to get out the lasso. Lasso coming out from Verithus, stolen again. That is Verithus is playing out of his mind. Chrono coming out from the Void, but Void looking for a target, trying to get as many as he can while in this Chrono. He does start going out on that Alchemist, but look at that Alchemist damage. That attack speed, that damage coming out is absolutely ridiculous. Wow, I'm just stunned by that Alchemist. The attack speed there, the damage is huge, and he will be fighting his own illusion at this point. And that Mjolnir paying dividends for him with the attack speed. Void and the Slark, the dual core there, will be going down. On the bright side out of that fight, what they can take is it was a 3-for-3 trade. You never want to lose your Void, but at least when you did, you got the tier 3, you got the tier 2, and you took a 3-for-3 fight. Also, on top of that, Fuss managed to pick up that gem. Hobo Ninja is going to start hitting on that bottom tower, though, and I'm not sure there's much the Radiant can really do here. 2-on-1 with the Darkseer and the Keeper of the Light. I'm not sure they'll have much they can do there. He will vacuum him off the tower just to get a little bit of initiation going, but it looks like the Rubik is going to TP in, but Hobo Ninja is going to just keep going. He has not a care in the world. He's going to start hitting up on those Raxes, and then, once again, there's not much the Radiant can do to defend against this. He's just going to smack the crap out of those Raxes and cut those down, and they are managing to get him down to full health, 3 versus 1, but he got a Rax out of that, and that is huge. While the Radiant did manage to get the tier 3 and the tier 2 and 3 kills, on the back of that fight, Hobo Ninja managed to get a tier 3 and a Rax. He didn't get any kills. He probably could have just wiped all 3 of them and gotten the Rax anyway, but he chooses to go straight onto the Rax and get that there. That's going to be a huge advantage for the Radiant in getting, or the Dire rather, huge advantage for the Dire as that bottom lane is now going to constantly push. Granted, he did get the range Rax instead of the melee Rax, and the melee Rax tends to be the better one to take if you only take one, as it allows you to build up that huge front line. And while the melee creeps don't do as much as the range creeps, it allows you to build up that big front line, so you can build up 4 or 5 range creeps behind that. So the range creep does do a ton of damage, but the tankiness in the melee creeps allows that ranged creep to just continually do damage and stack up 3-4 of them, and 1 or 2, maybe 3 catapults if it lasts long enough. So that really helps the pushing power of those lanes. So Hobo Ninja managing to get that out, and he will be going for his next item in the BKB, buys it outright, and that will make him almost unkillable. They will go into Roche now, and the Alchemist is going to smack the crap, just chop a wood out on him, and that Roche will be dropping extremely fast now. There's not a whole lot they can really do about this, I don't think, on the Radiant. If they know what's going on, I don't think they even know about it, as they did use the Mirana ult to go in on that, so I'm not sure they know about it, and even if they did, what can they do? They can drop the Darkseer ult, they can drop the Chrono, but as you can see, the Dire doing a good job of staying spread out here. They have a lot of distance in between them, so even if the Void does initiate here and does manage to get that ultimate off, he might only catch 1 or 2 of them, maybe 3 at absolute most. So he will not be able to catch the entire team, and that means that whoever's left is able to stave off that ultimate. Hobo Ninja picking up the Aegis now, and that is going to allow him to pretty much just recklessly run in on pretty much anything he wants. He can just pretty much go finish off the bottom barracks, take the mid racks. I'm not sure that the Radiant will really be able to stop him now. He does have a 23,000 net worth, almost 24,000. I'm not sure where his net worth actually went, because I'm pretty sure he had more than that before. I think he sold off something. Yeah, he sold off the Shadow Blade to replace it with the BKB, as he doesn't want to be invisible anymore. He wants to be on the front lines and beat the crap out of him. Darkseer does miss the wall. Hobo Ninja just coming in and initiating into that wall, and he does vacuum back into that wall, and that will allow him to get an illusion there. The blinding light from the Keeper of the Light, misplay there, does allow him to push out PewDiePie and Spatnak. Kozak taking tons of damage there from Wow My Money. Alchemist does go down 4v1 on the bottom here, but Kozak is already down, and I don't think he has buyback status. Look at that, he does not have the buyback, and this may be the game. Hobo Ninja running rampant. Slark does manage to pick out the Bat Rider, but Hobo Ninja chopping wood on that Rubik does manage to get that kill as well, and they will finish off the bottom barracks here, and with the Void down for another 50 seconds, they could just rotate middle and take that mid Rax on top of that. Hobo Ninja tanking up. Oh, no, they're just going to go for the GG. They don't even care about that Rax. They're going straight for the mid towers, the tier 4s here. they have 37 seconds without buyback on that Void, and they know it. If they would have bought back by now if they had the buyback, so they're going to try to initiate here. This is going to be a last stand for the Radiant, it looks like, and they go in, but it's only the two of them. Dr. 005 managing to take out Wow My Money, but Hobo Ninja just does not care. He does get slowed up a little bit and is going to be forced to throw out the Sun, and he does throw it out. Pops his ultimate again and starts chopping wood on Dr. 005. Does manage to get that kill. 10 seconds left on the Void, but what can he do without anyone on his team left alive? The Keeper and the Rubik will be coming back in 10 seconds apiece or so. The Darkseer does not have his ultimate though, and Void does not have his either for another 20 seconds. So it looks like the Dire will actually be forced out, and Hobo Ninja picking up the gem. That'll be reasonably helpful, though not unduly at this point in the game. Slark, it definitely will help them pick out Slark, which will be nice, but at the same time, not going to be too key. The Dire choosing to back out there, a little bit of an iffy choice as for going for these center towers. They did manage to get one of the tier 4 towers, but that said, they didn't get both of them, and they didn't get the throne, so they could have had at least another barracks down, possibly another 2 lanes of racks down, so that would have been a little bit better for them. But at the same time, they do have a tier 4 down. They do still have this Alchemist, whose net worth is quite ridiculous. 703 gold per minute on him, net worth looking at 30,000, doubling the Void up again, and it's been off and on there of doubling up the Void. Keeper of the Light will pick up the Sheep there, and that Sheep is going to be very, very handy in locking down the Alchemist, though Alchemist does have his BKB up already, so he will have to catch the Alchemist before the BKB or after the BKB. Speaking of ideal scenarios, the one way I really think they'll be able to take this Alchemist out is going to be if they can manage to get him before the BKB and before his ultimate. If they can drop the Sheep on him before both of those, they might be able to get that kill. Alchemist chooses to relinquish the gem, picks up the Abyssal Blade, and picks back up his Shadow Blade. He's doing 140 damage a hit now, and his ultimate allows him to attack absolutely insanely fast, so he does get tons of damage coming out there. His DPS is going to be crazy, and the extra lockdown is going to be nice. Batrider initiating on Fuss here. Fuss getting pulled right in, and Alchemist is going to go up against him, throws out the stun, and starts chopping wood, but the Blinding Light is going to slow him down a little bit there. Not popping the BKB yet. Kozak coming out with the ultimate is going to start hammering on Hobo Ninja, doing tons of damage. Kozak is relatively low himself, and Hobo Ninja dropping the, not even dropping the Abyssal, dropping the BKB rather, does manage to get tons of damage out there. AAO is going to call GG here as their entire team is down, and no buyback for anyone. Their only buybacks in this game is going to be on the Dire, so it looks like this game is going to be won almost solely on the back of that Alchemist. And his team playing exceedingly well, but the MVP I want to give for the Radiant here is going to be that Rubik. Rubik managed to keep them in this game. He is one of the key reasons that they had the turnarounds that they did, and was instrumental in any kind of comeback hope that they had, stealing that lasso and managing to telekinesis at the perfect time. That said, looks like this game is ending, so please check me out, and thank you for letting me cast you today. Check me out at youtube.com/SeeC Dota, that's SeeC Dota, twitch.tv/SeeC Dota, and twitter.com/SeeC Dota. Thank you for listening to me cast today, and I hope you enjoyed my cast. If you have any feedback for me, please let me know here, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, anywhere you want. I am open to any and all feedback, so just let me know what you have for me. Looking at the scoreboard here, it's going to be what you expect. I mean, 750 gold per minute on the Alchemist, and equally high experience per minute, so check me out there. I hope you enjoyed the cast. Thank you, and have a great day, Dota fans.